Hello everyone, and thanks for stopping by my channel. I am Surge T. In this video, I will be talking about SummerSlam for August 3rd, 2024. Very good show. I think probably the best SummerSlam in a while. Not saying the best ever, but it had a really good card. A great build. A lot of great just storytelling in the sense that they really built up a lot that we saw on SummerSlam. We actually cared about these feuds. I mean, at least I can say that for myself. And I really did enjoy it. 4 championships changed hands, which is a lot. 6 titles on the line, and then a non-title match, with Punk and McIntyre. But let's get into this. I know it's been about a week or so since I last did a video. I'm thinking seriously about just doing PLEs every month. And then going back to the original format that I had where I do trailer reactions and TV show reviews and things like that. Kind of switch it up because it does get to me a little bit much just doing wrestling because there's so much and I just don't have time, especially dealing with my health issues and everything like that. Well, I'm getting better though, which is great. I'm losing a lot of weight, getting my diabetes under control, which is sugar levels are low, so that's good. Enough about that. So let's get into this review of mine, rundown and everything. Let's talk about SummerSlam. The first match was Liv Morgan versus Rhea Ripley for the Women's World Title. Rhea Ripley is the challenger. She held the title for quite some time. And then she had to give the title up, relinquish it because she got injured by Liv Morgan. Liv Morgan pretty much getting a little bit of her revenge, and that's the reason why that happened. But it just seems like people don't give a fuck about her reasoning for doing that. Because they're so into Rhea Ripley, they love Rhea Ripley, that even though Liv Morgan in the past is very likable and all that stuff, but she's been doing a lot of underhanded stuff. Especially sticking her nose in, Judgment Day business and all that stuff. And it was a very good match. I thought it was really good. These two really meshed well. I mean, one point where we know what's going to happen. Liv Morgan, she throws Rhea Ripley into the corner, and then it seemingly pops Rhea Ripley's shoulder, the injured shoulder, back out of its socket. And then in order for her to get back into the match, because she was getting handled by Liv Morgan because of that injury, she couldn't use that right hand, that right arm of hers, and that she needs that in order to perform the Riptide, or even her, the stand, thing where she does the standing submission hold that she does. Where she has, her opponent's upside down, and she has the leg kind of looks like in the triangle type of a formation thing, whatever. I forget what it's called. But she does something that really is just indicative of what Rhea Ripley is. She just slams her own shoulder into the announce table and even makes the announce team, who was Michael Cole, Pat McAfee, and Corey Graves, great trio. I'm glad that they're the ones that did it. And you see a view of them, and all three of them jumped back as she did that, and she was able to get more of a hold of her, control of her arm again. And despite everything that happened, we saw Rhea Ripley get hit with a Oblivion, but she kicked out. And then we saw a point where she hit the Riptide on Liv, but then she kind of got a little bit overzealous, a little bit too much, just what we call that, but she really just let her emotions get the better of her, and she went to go get a chair. When she went to go swing the chair, Dominic grabs the chair, tells Mommy that, hey, this is not the way to go. You're not going to win the match. You're not going to win the championship. So she said, you can kind of see her mouthing, "No, I got carried away. Sorry, whatever." And then the match goes on. Then we see Dominic again with the steel chair. He somehow ends up in the ring. The ref goes to Dominic, pretty much telling him to get off the apron or what are you doing? And while he's distracted, Liv hits the Oblivion and drives Rhea's head or face into the chair. And then she gets the 1, 2, 3 and successfully defends her title. Now, she's outside. I believe the belt was on the ground. And then Dominic picks it up and hands it to Liv Morgan. And what happens next is something that kind of really just was a culmination of like, no shit, right? Like we all knew. Even myself, I said to myself, this is going to happen. I said, this is going to happen. And it's just a matter of time. And I said to myself that this was going to happen and that, that Dominic was going to cost Rhea Ripley. Didn't think it would as the match went on, but then you kind of see what happened then. When he gives the championship to Liv, she's like confused, like why are you giving me the title? And then all of a sudden he puts his hand on her face and gives her a nice wet one across the lips. Gives her a kiss. Looks at Rhea, does Dom, and he's smiling. That devilish, sheepish smile of his. And then she's just living. She doesn't cry or anything, but she's just like, really? Really, you did that to me? And she's just fuming. But she's not crying, but she's fuming. Like, who was the one that said that? One of the guys, either on the post show, that had the panel there with Big E and Peter Rosenberg, Wade Barrett, and old girl there. Yeah, you know what I mean. But one of them said, or one of the commentators said that I would not want to be in his shoes because somebody was saying that it's great to be him, Dominic, because he's with Liv. I mean, because they were talking about how he's with these two girls and what would they see in him, right? And they're saying that they wouldn't want to be in his shoes now, yeah, especially because Rhea's going to beat his ass. You know what I'm saying? She's going to definitely look for him and seek him out once she recovers from the shock. But we didn't see backstage. We see Damian Priest. He is livid. He's mad. Talking about where's that little son of a bitch? Where's that little shit? Where's he at? And then he sends all his guys to go see him, to go get him. And then right there, I was thinking to myself, there's something about Finn, the way he acts. We've been seeing these type of looks that he gives Damian when Damian leaves the room. And I'm just thinking that there's going to be something else that's going to happen within the Judgment Day. We already see one betrayal. Dominic definitely is no longer in the faction. Well, not longer in the faction. Well, at this point. Yeah, at this point. Because at this point, Damian Priest is together with his guys. But as the evening goes on, we'll see that might change. But let's move on from that. That was a good match. Very good ending. I like the way it ended, and I like the way it's kind of posing some interesting things that can happen now with the whole dynamic of the Judgment Day. Next up is Sami Zayn. And he will be defending his Intercontinental title against Braun Breaker for the Intercontinental Championship. This match was very physical. I love this match. Braun Breaker really is a beast. When they say a guy's a beast, sometimes they say it just because it's cool to say it. But right here, he's a beast. I mean, doing all the things that he does, right? Doing that amazing, beautifully executed Frankensteiner. He just jumps to the top turnbuckle, top rope with ease. And he just delivers that Frankensteiner. Now his uncle, Scott Steiner, did an amazing, beautiful one as well back in his day. But I don't think he ever did it from the top rope, from the top turnbuckle. And Sami Zayn was in there, and one time, in the beginning of the match, he actually almost connected with the Haluva kick. He's in the corner, beat down a little bit, and then Braun thinks he could just go to the corner, bounce off the corner, and then come out. But once he was like his back hits the corner, ready to explode out, maybe attack him in the corner. Zayn comes in and almost nearly hits him with the Haluva kick. But then this match, of course, another great match. The best Intercontinental title match, maybe not, but it's a great showcase for Bron Breakker. And Bron Breakker, again, maybe on another receiving end. It looked like he was going to be on the receiving end for Rio and get hit with a Haluva kick, but then he just comes out of that corner, explosive, attack out of the corner, and he hits Zayn with a spear, and then he does that whole thing where his opponent's in the middle of the ring, dazed, and then 23 miles an hour bouncing off either side of the ropes, getting that momentum, and then he hits another spear, and this spear keeps Sami Zayn down, and Bron Breakker defeats Sami Zayn and becomes a champion on the main roster for the first time, and that is the championship known as the Intercontinental Championship. And I think this is going to be like another one of those Intercontinental title matches that it's going to be a thing where this is Bron Breakker's coming out party. Like, I can see him at WrestleMania next year challenging for the World Championship or even the WWE Undisputed Championship. But he'll probably be taking on somehow he'll be taking on Gunther. I mean, he's beat Gunther before. He's one of the only 3 people that defeated him. The others were Sami Zayn and the other one. God, because they're always in a triple threat. I can't remember. That's what happens, man. Sometimes it just comes out of your mouth. But he's one of 3. One of 3. I'm gonna remember it later on. I'm gonna be like, damn it, how come I didn't remember that? But another good match, and SummerSlam is on a roll so far with 2 great matches opening up the show. I mean, Jelly Roll opened up the show. Wasn't a big fan of his, but I always liked hearing his song "Liar," and I didn't realize it was him. And then his performance of "God Bless America" was amazing. That guy's got a great voice, really great voice, and also a very, very accomplished artist and stuff. Not artist like a drawing artist, but a country artist, rapper. And I like that song. I'm not going to get it on iTunes or something like that because it's a good song. I like it. Also, when he opened up, he sang that song, and what I liked about that is that when he was singing it, was just not us looking at him. He's performing. That's boring. I've always said that about when they have opening acts and singers and all that at a WWE event. It really is just the doldrums, But then what I liked about it was that when he was singing or he was performing the song, they showed the performers. They showed the wrestlers, the sports entertainers that are going to be performing on SummerSlam, and they showed vignettes of them, and while they're going in and out and showing Jelly Roll, and then it would show, like Cody Rhodes and Solo Sikoa and Rhea Ripley and Liv Morgan. They would just go, and that's how you do it because it especially keeps the interest of the audience. I don't know if they had a a Titantron or they were playing that footage for the audience there. Because if you're in the audience, you're seeing the performer, so you can kind of get into it because you're there, like it's like a concert. But us at home seeing that, because I don't watch WWE for concerts. I think that's why I've never had I've never liked when they would have people performing at especially like at WrestleMania and all that, because no one's even there in the audience. People are dead. I think they're getting into Jelly Roll. I think because how could you not like the guy? He's a very lovable dude. He's very charismatic. You can't hate the guy because the guy's just easygoing and all that stuff. And he did really well at SummerSlam. We'll talk about that later. And other contributions that he did, I liked it. I think it was great. But that's that. Now let's move on to Logan Paul versus LA Knight for the WWE United States Championship. And they kept saying it, the audience, even the pre-show panel, were talking about how he needs to win. And yeah, I agree because he's been built up all this time. He got his name back, LA Knight, after being Max Dupree, and he hasn't held a major title. He held a title before that, but that wasn't nothing. It was a joke. That's the $1 million title. That's not sanctioned. That's not recognized by WWE. Yes, the $1 Million Man created the title, and it's an iconic title. He even defended the title, and even Virgil, his former servant, his former bodyguard, beat him for the title at one point. Remember that? God rest his soul. Of course, because we lost Virgil not too long ago. But yeah, this match, they were saying that he is a winner. He has to win, because if not, where is he going to be at? I'm looking at the United States Championship as his launching pad to a future world title match, maybe even a future world title. He's been in the industry almost over 20 years now, and he deserves it. He's lucky that in the post-McMahon era, he can't go wrong with him getting over organically, because McMahon hated that. Triple H is all for it, and so I can definitely see him as a world champion in the future. You never know. When he's biding his time and all that stuff, somebody might come up from NXT, or somebody might get signed from another promotion, and they may, go past him and be the one to beat the world champion and not LA Knight. But in this match, LA Knight rises to the occasion, and he defeats Paul with a BFT to become the new United States champion, and it's his first major title in WWE. What I like about it, Machine Gun Kelly went out there, and I'm not saying that's the thing I like, but what I like about it was he went out there, and he was sitting in the audience, in the front row with his goofballs, with Logan Paul's goofballs, those guys that are always his entourage. And then there was one point where he just got sick of them and pulled two of them out of the stands, out of the front row, and just starts beating on them. And what was the name of that one guy, the one that always has the brass knuckles, right? Jake, whatever his name is, Josh, I think his name was. And, I think he tried, I'm trying to remember if he tried to give him one, and I think that's the reason why, pulled him out of the thing and started beating on him and stuff like that. And then Machine Gun Kelly had a necklace on, and then he presented some brass knucks. Now, he gets hit, LA Knight, with the brass knuckles, but then he is able to kick out. And then he's able to put in a situation where he successfully blocks another attempt with the brass knuckles, and then he hits him with the BFT. And then he becomes the world champion. World champion. Well, I can only hope in the future, the United States champion. And that's going to be, like I said, his launching pad. It's like with Braun Breaker. That's going to be his launching pad to the future. Triple H said in the press conference that he's going to be a future superstar. He was very impressed and very proud of his performance. He said he's definitely here to stay, and he's going to be someone who's going to be a major player in the future. And I agree. You may see him become world champion, maybe even win the Royal Rumble or Elimination Chamber and become world champion at WrestleMania. If not, he'll probably be King of the Ring and win it at next year's SummerSlam. We see him win the Intercontinental title here. Next year's SummerSlam, he could easily become the world champion or the WWE champion. Because we don't know. Because I'm sure they're going to have a draft, and he might get drafted over to the other brand or whatever. So his focus will be something different. But LA Knight, the new United States champion. Good on him. Congratulations to him. I think he did great. And then Logan Paul with another amazing performance, another stellar outing for him. I don't like the guy. I'm not a fan, but at the same time, I can give my respect to somebody who busts his ass at the PC, in the gym. He gets better and better. Triple H said that same thing again at the press conference, that he always puts in the work. And he's very, very proud of him as well. So let's move on. Bayley, the WWE Women's Champion, she will put her title on the line against Nia Jax, the Queen. Nia Jax, excuse me. I must be respectful and call her Queen. And this, of course, is going to be for the WWE Women's Championship. And I think people need to stop dwelling on the past and using that as a reason to always knock Nia Jax. She's gotten better. She is more poised in the ring. She's got more control of her, especially when it comes to her weight and everything like that. Because people were saying that she didn't know how to control her weight and she would hurt people. But when you see her perform the Annihilator, you can tell that she's sitting down like with Yokozuna. 500, 600 pounds, and that guy can drop the bonsai drop on you. It's like the Annihilator, but it's you've heard people talk about how even like Undertaker and all that say that it just feels like someone's just dropped. It's like a feather. Because remember when Yokozuna didn't like you, wanted to punish you, he would sit on you and he would let his feet just go out from under him. But that's how he keeps his weight distributed, by his feet flat on the ground, flat on the mat. And you can see it. She's got control. She's come back with a different attitude, more confidence, like people say. And I think that she's definitely much better this time out. Unlike Ronda Rousey, who had a shit second run, Nia Jax is having a great, a great second run. It's probably the best run in her career. And we all know that that Nia Jax, when she won Queen of the Ring, she earned her spot to challenge for the WWE Women's Championship, and she goes on to win, this match. And it saw Tiffany Stratton come out. We thought, she's not listening to the Queen. She's the princess, and the princess ain't listening to the Queen when she said you're not going to cash in. But it was a very clever ruse, a very clever way of distracting Bayley, because then Bayley ended up not focusing on the task at hand, and then Nia was able to take her out, and then she drags her to the corner and hits her with a second Annihilator because she kicked out of the first one that she attempted. And then for good measure, she hit her with another one. 2 in a row, 3 altogether, but in this sequence, 2 is what she needed to make sure that Bayley, is kept down for the 3 count, and that she does. And we then see Nia Jax become the new WWE Women's Champion. I love Bayley, and I'm starting to become more respectful of Nia Jax. I'm not a big fan of hers, but at the same time, doesn't mean I don't like her. I think she's very, very good at what she's doing and what she does. The way she contributes her, whatever you want to say, how she contributes to the ring, her character, everything like that, stuff like that, it's adequate. It's what's needed. You need someone like her in there. Kind of gives the other women a challenge because of her size, because of her power, because of her, I don't know if you call it her unpredictability, but because you can see her coming from a mile away, you know what she's going to do. I think she's I think she's like 2-dimensional. She's not very, very. She doesn't switch up her style or anything. But she became the new champion. And see what happens, because Tiffany Stratton has the briefcase. She can't challenge. She can't cash it in on the other champion. You know what I mean? She doesn't have to only try to cash it in on Nia. She could, successfully, cash it in on Liv. I thought she was going to do that tonight. But then she wouldn't be on the same brand as Nia. I don't know. They have a good alliance going, so maybe that shouldn't be the thing. And then we're going to see what happens. Maybe she's going to try. Maybe turn on Nia. I don't know. Maybe we're going to make Nia a babyface. Or maybe Nia is going to belittle and browbeat Tiffany Stratton. It's going to make her turn to a babyface, and she's going to turn on Nia, because a lot of people don't like her. To a lot of people, she's polarizing. Nia is, but Tiffany Stratton, even though she's a heel, people love her. I love her. I think she's great. And who knows, right? Yeah, who knows if what's going to happen with that? Maybe that's going to be the case. Either way. But a good match, another one, and again, SummerSlam continues to be on the roll at this point. Now, CM Punk versus Drew McIntyre. And Seth freaking Rollins is a special guest referee, and he doesn't what do you call that word? But he doesn't disappoint in his attire. Like I said, man, he keeps raiding his wife's closet. Very flamboyant. A lot of that stuff, that you can see Becky Lynch wearing that stuff. But it's his character. I mean, he had a referee shirt on, but then he had this, looks like pajamas, glittery or whatever that was. But that's Seth. What do you want, right? And this match was a very good match, very physical. These two really, really do not like each other. I don't know if it's real or not, but it really does show in this match. And these guys were getting distracted. I mean, more CM Punk than anything. I mean, he let his hatred for Rollins. Because none of these guys like each other. You keep saying that Seth Rollins was the perfect referee because he doesn't like either one. He's going to be the most unbiased referee, right? Because he doesn't like these guys. But at the same time, yeah, he let Rollins get to him. Rollins, at one point, found the bracelet that has AJ Lee and Larry's name on it. He put it on his wrist just so that he could secure it, so that he could run. So CM Punk is trying to get, well, he actually does get Drew McIntyre up for the GTS. And then he sees something. I'm wondering, well, why is he getting distracted by him? He needs to stop getting distracted by him. But what happened was that he saw the bracelet on Punk, and then when Punk saw the bracelet on Rollins, he's like, what are you doing? What are you doing with it? And then, what do you call it, was saying, pretty much like, I'm just keeping this here secured and all that stuff. You need to focus on him. You need to worry about him. Stop worrying about me and everything like that. And then one thing leads to another, and then he ends up getting hit. Well, I mean, he hits, he gets Rollins up for the GTS, hits the GTS, knocks Seth Rollins out momentarily. And then when he turns around, he eats a Claymore. And then he goes for the pin. And then Rollins turns around. 1, 2. He hesitates. And then Drew McIntyre is like, come on. Then he looks like he kind of unwillingly hit the 3. I don't know why. He got hit with a GTS. I mean, why would he hesitate? Right? But a very good match. What do you want? CM Punk losing. This is his first match in 10 and a half years, right? First singles match, because he was in the Royal Rumble. That was his return match. And it's not a one-on-one match, of course. But he comes back after being out with the injury, surgery, recovery, and all that stuff. He was cleared. What's going to happen next? Even the guys back there on the panel and all that stuff, were saying that, yeah, he has the Punk. He should be done with this, right? But then he has the bracelet. Punk's not going to let that slide. Is Punk going to still want to have, that's Jackie Redmond. There you go. How could I forget the lovely Jackie Redmond, her name? But she's the one that brought it up. Like, the other guys were saying, oh, yeah, he's done. Even Drew McIntyre, when he showed up for a, post-match interview, he was there with them at the panel. We were asking him questions and all that stuff. And she said that, how can he be done with it when, yeah, he could be done with it, as we said, but it's Punk, because he saw the bracelet. He wants that bracelet back. He got it back, and then Punk took it off, put it on his wrist, and he kisses it while he's hovering, or he's sitting, like he's right there, kneeling right next to Punk, kind of rubbing it in. So we'll see what happens with that. I mean, maybe, who knows what's going to happen with, this situation. CM Punk going to go away for a little bit, right? Rest up and all that. Seth freaking Rollins, that's going to be his opponent. Then Drew McIntyre is just going to go off for a bit and focus on other feuds or other things. I don't know. These three kind of seemingly have a, what do you call it? Like a triangle there. Not a love triangle, but some type of triangle where these guys just can't get away from each other. It's going to be a triple threat match. We have the Bash at Berlin coming up in the end of August, August 31st, something like that. And we'll see, if it's going to, maybe they're going to, well, I mean, if Vince Russo was on there, they would have that bracelet on a pole match. Because, he liked those pole matches, right? One of those matches he had. He was always doing that. The guy was such a hack, But Let's move on to the first of two world title matches. The first one is the World Heavyweight Championship, and that's Damian Priest is champion, and he takes on the challenge of Gunther. And a physical match, and this, it didn't disappoint those of us who love our matches hard hitting and brutal. And we see in the end that Gunther wins the match and becomes the new World Heavyweight Champion, thanks in part, talked about this earlier, to the betrayal of Finn Balor. It cost Priest the match and the championship. There's a point where Gunther is on the receiving end of, call it, South to Heaven. Now, don't know if this was just, I don't know, a what do you call that word, but like when someone just doesn't stop thinking. And then what he did, Damian Priest just rolls Gunther over, right? And he's really close to the ropes. I said, this is it. Because all along, all this time, even here, I said, I think that Finn is going to screw him over. And what happens? He's close enough to the ropes when he goes to the pin. He doesn't, he lock, he what's the word? But he cinches in, or he grabs the near leg to secure the pin, does Damian Priest. But then he leaves the far leg that's right next to the rope open. What happens? Finn Balor puts puts Gunther's left leg over the rope, breaks the count. And Mark didn't see it. He didn't understand what's going on, why the referee stopped. Then when you show the replay, you see Damian Priest looking at the Titantron there, looking at the Tron, looks at Finn Balor, who's looking towards the stage, his back to thing. You see him seething, and then you see him smile. He turns around, and Damian Priest goes to reach out to him, right? Tries to grab him, and then Gunther grabs him and puts him in a sleeper. And you think this is it. He's going to tap out. He didn't even tap out. Didn't even pass out. He was able to power out, and then he gets out of the grasp of Gunther, and then he goes to, and he grabs Finn Balor, like his hand wrapped around his throat. And then Gunther pulls him, and then you see Finn Balor going, man, get your hand off me, kind of thing, kind of an action. And then Gunther power bombs Damian Priest, and then slaps in, locks in, cinches in the sleeper, and he puts him to sleep, and he wins the championship. This is something that was long time coming. We all saw it coming. It's just a matter of when. So people are saying, is this the end of Judgment Day? I don't think so. It's the end of Damian Priest and Rhea Ripley's association with them now. Finn Balor's the new leader. He's got his boy JD there. He's got Dom. They have Carlito. And then Liv Morgan, they want to be even more powerful. Liv Morgan can come and join them. And there you go. You have all the titles. And I was just thinking maybe Gunther can join the Judgment Day and they have the world title. But then I don't know. I don't know if that would fit. But probably. Maybe Gunther can join them and then turn them from street trash to respectable wrestlers in the ring. And they all are great wrestlers. Everybody in that faction. I don't know. That's kind of an odd fit. But who knows? WWE is known to put oddballs together and then it just works. Right? But yeah, that was a good match. Matches that I love. I love when Gunther's in any kind of match because the match is just brutal and physical. There's a lot of chops in this. He got cut open. Not cut open, but when these guys chop, sometimes their nails kind of cut the. I think that's the reason why these guys get cut open. I don't think it's just because of the chops itself. The chops cause welts and blistering, but not those things where they're cuts. They're like the nails. And there's one point where he got the blood. Gunther, he just wipes his own blood and just puts it on his head. Like, you know what I mean? Just. Insane kind of a move, like, you know what I mean, like, and just showed how much of just, what's the word, but man, he just showed that he just was in the mood, he was intense, he was just in the zone, He wanted to show, that this was during the match, so he wanted to show, Priest that he didn't care if he was bleeding. I'll put it on my face. I'll rub it all over my face. I don't care. Bring it on, kind of thing. Even Damian Priest was going like this when he was getting chopped down. I don't know. A lot of people, I don't think, were into this match because who are you gonna really root for? Even though Damian Priest is being presented as a babyface, but really technically he's not a babyface yet. But you can see kind of like him transitioning into a babyface kind of. Even Rhea's already popular; she's already over. But I don't know if Priest is. But I can appreciate what he does in the ring, and I'm a fan. I think he's great in the ring since his days in NXT. But now what's going to happen with the Judgment Day? They're not done. They're not done. Two of their key members are out, but then you can bring Liv in. Like I said, maybe even bring Gunther in. But then that's going to be another dynamic where Gunther's going to want to be the leader, right? He's probably going to bide his time. He'll probably join, and then it'll be like, I'll let Finn have his time, and then, or maybe Finn Balor can join Imperium and then when what do you call it comes around, Wildcard comes back, Ludwig Kaiser comes back from injury, and they can join him. I always thought that he'd be great. I mean, even Ilya Dragunov, he could be a member of Imperium. Yeah, they have a history. That's the one I was thinking about. The third person that pinned Gunther. Yeah, it was Ludwig. It was Ilya Dragunov. That's the one. Beat him for the NXT UK Championship. Yeah. But that's that with that match. And again, SummerSlam's on the road. Not a bad match up until this point. Everything clicked. Everybody did their job. Well-produced matches, and these opponents in everyone's matches, these guys just meshed. There was one hiccup, one botch, very smooth. Now the next segment before the main event, which is Cody Rhodes versus Solo Sikoa for the undisputed WWE title, we have the host of SummerSlam. I love the host, right? They open and then they close the event order. They open it and then they don't show up until the last, right before the main event, top of that. I mean, Miz is in his own element. He's in his element. He was there with R-Truth. What do you call it? Miz host. He's a host, and then he mentions that the capacity crowd is a record for the Cleveland Browns Stadium, and it's 57,791. Very impressive number, but WWE attempts to blow up their numbers. Sometimes I don't believe that. A lot of people want to do that just because that's what everybody says. Oh, I'm going to believe that because that's what they say. Sometimes these guys are accurate. I mean, I don't understand why they would have to lie all the time. But I think they did that with, with the Cowboy Stadium. Remember in WrestleMania 32? 100,000 in the thing, but I think they only had like 70,000 or something like that. But, they're there. And then A-Town Down Under, Grayson Waller and Austin Theory, they interrupt. And they're talking all kinds of crap. They get to a point where they even insult, the SmackDown guest there, guest of Triple H and everybody, with WWE, that being Jelly Roll, saying that his music is just as bad as R-Truth. And then they're just constantly, berating R-Truth and The Miz, and then we see Jelly Roll sneak into the ring. He has the chair, just chomping at the bit. He wants to lay those two out. And then all of a sudden we see The Miz and R-Truth hit first, attack the guys, and then with their backs turned, Jelly Roll hits Austin Theory with a chair shot, Grayson Waller with a chair shot, and Grayson Waller, for some reason, he's out of the ring. Who's left behind is, Austin Theory. And then Austin Theory, I don't know how he did this. I don't know how, was he trained? Did he practice with somebody, or he just able to do it? But he did probably one of the most impressive one-hand choke slams that I've seen. You know, in the days like of Kane and in his glory days, the same thing with the Undertaker too back in the day. He elevated Austin Theory like 10 feet in the air. It seemed like with one hand, and then he just choke slammed Austin Theory did Jelly Roll, and then Jelly Roll and the Awesome Truth, they connect with a 15 knuckle shuffle, not a 5 knuckle shuffle, but a 15 knuckle shuffle, which was great. It was fun. It was a fun segment. I thought it was great, and for once, it was a segment that I enjoyed. Sometimes these segments get a little overdone, a little bit blown out of whatever you want to call it. It's just too much. It's not needed, but here it was great. I liked it. And how long was this SummerSlam? Like 4 hours, man. From 4 until 8. But it was great. It didn't drag on. Everything was done well. I loved it. Every part of SummerSlam, I should say. And this was a great segment. And now let's move on to the main event. The Cody Rhodes versus Solo Sikoa for the undisputed WWE title. And Michael Cole goes over the impressive list of men Solo has beat. Rey Mysterio, KO, Sheamus, AJ Styles, and John Cena. There's a couple others I can't remember. But yeah, that is very impressive. But people still don't think that he's anything special. They think he's boring. I think he's light years ahead of, or just what do you call it? Ahead of how he used to be when he first came. You know what I mean? He's very much improved in the promo department. And then again, he never really talked that much, but he's got a very, very good commanding voice. He's like he has a voice where you listen, and he's very, very like just articulate. Like the way he talks. It isn't all over the place. He's not stumbling. It's just very direct, definite. Like he knows what he wants to talk about. And I gotta hand that to Solo Sikoa. And he's in the ring by himself, but you know that bloodline rules. He's going to have a little bit of help from his boys. It's only a matter of time during the match. And then backstage we see Cody with his dog Pharaoh, and unfortunately his dog Pharaoh. This is like his last ride and his last time with Cody because he's 13 years old. And we know in dog years that's old, you know, unfortunately. It's a beautiful dog. I love his dog. And what was the name of his other dog? He said in a press conference that's going to take over because he's like the enhancement talent jobber that's finally getting called up to the main roster kind of thing, whatever it was. I can't remember his name. But yeah, so I don't even know what type of dog that is. His other dog is. But yeah, Pharaoh's getting a little old, isn't he? And he would rather stay home. That's what Cody said. Wants to keep him home and not have to travel all the time and stuff. Because he's old, he's up there in age, so you know Cody doesn't want to keep bringing him because he just doesn't want to put him through that. And you know he's with his dog, and then they come up on Double A, Arn Anderson, who left AEW not too long ago, and here he is in WWE. Actually Cody said that he brought him down because it was his decision. He wanted to bring Double A on. Who knows if he's going to have another role in WWE? He might not. But I remember hearing him as he's giving him his last minute pep talk. He was saying that there's some people that are here that are going to help you out, or there's going to be some legends or some people that are going to be here for you. Something like that. I thought I heard him say that. And you're going to see just who was there for Cody later. Now, after the bell, you know, as the match starts, we see a dominating performance by the self-proclaimed tribal chief. And all I'm saying to myself, does he have what it takes to bring the title back to the bloodline? You know, Jacob Fatu and Tama Tonga brought the tag team titles to the bloodline. Now their tribal chief have what it takes, and it is truly a back and forth match. Like man, no man has a clear and distinct advantage. Like even though Cody has the speed and experience, right, as opposed to experience level, as opposed to the sheer power and intensity of Solo Sikoa. But then Solo does use what I mentioned, sheer power and intensity, and he gets the momentum on the side, but Cody somehow gets Solo in a position to deliver a beautiful superplex. Man, it was beautiful. But then as Cody delivers Crossroads, the Bloodline rules come into effect as the Tongans attack Rhodes. But in comes KO, and this is why this rules, the Bloodline rules gonna bite the Bloodline in the ass, because it benefited Cody at WrestleMania. Cody said at the press conference that it's his match because it's already 2 times now that he won. It's 2 times that he's, 2-0 in this type of match. And then Orton's music hits as he joins the fray. And even after we see an RKO and a stunner and a Crossroads, Solo still kicks out. And I know that I've talked about AEW and how they do that. They kick out of finishers all the time. But you know what? This is like once in a while. And this is a really major match. It's not just like a throwaway match on AEW and someone kicks out of their finisher or kicks out of a move that you shouldn't be kicking out of. That's the difference. AEW is light years behind when it comes to knowing when to do that shit. And you notice I didn't do what do you call it? I didn't do AEW Dynamite because that 1 hour match between Will Ospreay and MJF took me out. That's like that's like the what's the word, but man, that is like the epitome of the type of matches that they put on. And that was like the last straw for me. Like, this is always the matches that you guys put on. MJF delivers a pile driver. Will Ospreay goes, "Oh, I'll do you one better. I'll do a Canadian Destroyer. Oh, you hit me with a Death Valley driver on the damn apron. Well, I'm gonna do the AJ Styles Clash on the apron." Like, it was just like a one-up-spin, and I got tired after that. And it's just almost like that's what it took for me to stop watching AEW. And I'm not watching AEW ever again. I'm tired of that thing, and it's all about WWE for me now. Because I'm just tired of it. Now, like I said, Solo did kick out, and I'm like, don't forget about the Samoan Werewolf. Jacob Fatu, he's still lurking despite the Tongans being run off. He thought, okay, it's going to be an even match. No, it's not. And speaking of Jacob Fatu, he does appear as Cody was looking to deliver 3 consecutive Crossroads, and despite Fatu's damage, because he doesn't give Rhodes a lot of punishment, Rhodes still kicked out. And then Cody goes through the announce table by Jacob Fatu, and still Jacob Fatu hit that splash that he did to KO, if I'm not mistaken, on SmackDown. And he seemingly looked like he hit his knee and injured himself. He couldn't stand up. He was pissed. He was throwing the announce chair, and stuff like that as he's on his ass, sitting on his ass. And he looks at Solo. Solo looks, concerned, but he's like, "Oh, what are you doing?" He's like yelling at Solo, "Get in there and finish it. Don't stop looking at me. Finish it. Finish the job." So he goes in there, and then as he seemingly looks like he has in control, Solo, Roman's music hits and the crowd loses their shit. They go back shit crazy. And business is about to pick up, as the great JR would say. And I noticed that when Roman walked out there wasn't a lot of reaction, even though they were reacting. But when he finally came out, because they reacted to his music, but when he came out, you heard nothing. But then again, it is an open air, stadium, so they probably we just couldn't hear that. But I'm sure they were definitely reacting. Don't get me wrong, I know they were. It's great to see Roman back. But then Cole actually said, "Why is Roman here, and who is he here for?" I'm like, "Really, Cole?" And then the answer is Solo. As we see him deliver a Superman punch, and then a spear, and then leaves Solo as a sacrificial lamb for Cody to finish off. After he hits that spear, he looks at Cody, nods to him like this, like, "You got it, man." Walks out. Cody has Solo in position for the Crossroads. He's looking right at Roman. He delivers it, a final definitive Crossroads by Cody, and he seals this match, and Solo falls to the champion. And your undisputed WWE champion is Cody Rhodes. And then Roman and Cody look at each other as Roman points to the 3 letters on his shirt, OTC. which may likely mean original tribal chief. I mean, it was brought up during the post show. Definitely, that's what that means. And it's a pretty sweet looking shirt. I might get that shirt. It looks pretty sweet. Big old T and it's C. So that's that. That's my review and my thoughts and talking about SummerSlam. Very good PLE. I enjoyed it. Every match was excellent. Not a lot of fluff. Every match counted. Every match needed to be displayed here. No other matches. No women's tag team title matches. The WWE tag team titles. Either one of them were on the show. So, we had everything that we needed on this, on this show. And I enjoyed it. I thought it was great. Not a 10, not even a 9, but I was 8.5. I don't know why I would say that, because you can't really say anything is perfect. I can't give this pay-per-view a 10. You can't. I don't think any pay-per-view is ever worth a 10 or an A+ or 5 stars out of, or 10 stars, It's like, there's always something that will keep it from being perfect, because, like I said, this one ain't perfect. None of us are perfect. No pay-per-view or PLE or any movie or music or song or whatever is perfect, There's some that come close, sure, and this thing came close to being perfect. It was a very good PLE, and I think this is what I'm going to do every month. But the next video I'm going to do Bash in Berlin. I don't know who Gunther's opponent will be, but he definitely will be main eventing that, because he's from Austria. He's from that area, that neck of the woods, so it's perfect for him to be the main event. I don't know who's going to challenge him. That question was even asked of him, and he said, I just won the title. I don't know. Was it him or that said that? But at the same time, he just won his championship, so why would he know who his next opponent is? Whoever it is, it's going to be the same outcome, like he always wants to say. They're going to be humbled and humiliated in the ring by the ring general. Now, like I said, that's my review. Like I said, SummerSlam was great. I enjoyed it. On the next pay-per-view, the next PLE, Bash in Berlin, that's when you'll see me do another wrestling video. Like I said, this video I'm going to be, my channel, I'm going to be going back to when I would review movies and watch, react to trailers and other things, TV shows, what have you. So, because like I said, wrestling can drain you. There's so much wrestling content, so much stuff that you gotta do Monday and Friday, and then, PLEs and all that stuff, But this is my plan right now. Hopefully you guys will understand, and maybe some of you who do like when people react to trailers and TV shows and review movies, you can come around and watch those videos too. Before I end this, I just want to thank those of you who stopped by and watched my video. I appreciate it. I know it's a long time coming. Well, 2 weeks since my last video. But a lot of things happen in my life, and a lot of things I gotta take care of my health, and I gotta look out for myself at times so that I can, be better and be up and have energy and all that good stuff. But anyway, that's my video. So again, for those of you who stopped by and checked out my video, thank you, I appreciate it. Then until next time, take care, and I will see you in my next video.